Oh,
Thinking. All right, we are live.
we are live? Oh, I see that now.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're finally live. Technology has not been on our side for trying to go live today, and it just, it
for,
is what it is.
for 2 days, technology is kicking my butt, Rob. So I'm,
You,
I'm
you want
glad.
to you
So,
want to talk about something kicking my butt? It is all the changes that are happening because a lot of businesses are going to be flat out screwed if they don't keep up on technology the way it's going. A lot of local businesses are going to be hurting. The AI is going to kill them and make it to where their competition and whoever is going to follow these new things that we're going to go over today, if they're not following these pieces, they're going to be left behind. And technology is taking a whole entire huge change. What do you
right.
think?
Well, there you go, Rob. I mean, we haven't done a recording for a while because we saw this pivotal shift, and we're making a ton of changes right now. And everybody needs to be aware that the content of your website and the way the AIs are doing searches is becoming more just not just a data point. Like we were just talking today again, doing some testing on our own just to verify some things, and the content is going to be huge. It's not just find near me questions anymore. It's find this, and then you ask it to qualify it using the AI, and I think we're going to see it become a lot more the search engines. What's your thought on that? Do you agree with that, or what's your
So,
thought?
so here's my prediction. This is what we went over before the call, and it is my prediction is that search is no longer going to be just a piece of information. Right now, you go to Google, you do a voice search on Siri, Alexa, Cortana, whatever it is. You do that search. You can be on Bing and Yahoo, any of those networks. You do a search, and you get a list of results back. Where search is going to go, you had a Google leak that happened, which I still think, me personally, this is my opinion. I think this is was a cause that leak was caused by Google to make everybody see what their algorithm is doing. And I see lots of changes happening right now with Google from a programmer standpoint, from a data science point. I'm seeing even more changes. And what's going to happen to search is going to become more dynamic, and search is going to be more prominent because it's going to have a conversation with you, and it is going to be basically almost like an advisor on the other side. That's that AI piece. It's not going to be it's not going to be just that straight, okay, we're aiming for the 3 pack. The 3 pack is going to be something completely different because, as I'm going to let you talk about of all of the stuff that we went through, because you hadn't really touched all this with me much yet until today. And I'm like, hey, just try doing this kind of search. But what's happening is people are going, or software, search engines, everything to make this change to where, and Google already has part of this out. And I've talked about this before. Google has part of it out. It's not released for everybody. But when it does, you're going to be able to have a conversation with that chat, that Gemini or that AI behind it, and be able to find that business. So if you have a certain problem, a certain location, you are trying to find some kind of information, it's going to do the research for you, and it's going to narrow it down. And if you don't have the data points, you are going to be screwed. It's just going to flat out, I don't know how else to put that, you're going to be screwed. Why don't you talk about what we found today and what I had you walk through and what your thoughts are?
Okay, so Rob and I, Rob, he posed a question to me, so I went in and did a query, and we did carpet cleaning located in Greeley, Colorado, which is where we're located at in this area. And we used two different AIs. We used ChatGPT 4.0, and we
Which is
used,
Bing.
right, which is Bing. I'm sorry, I should say it. And then we used Gemini, which is Google.
Yep.
And the results are pretty similar with the way they're going out and gathering data. Little differences, but so Chat, which is the Bing file, they went and they found the top five, which is a better search result if you're not in the top three. Where Safari still found the top three, like the 3 pack, like it does right now with the way Google does searches. When you do ask a Google Assistant to help you, you get the top three usually, the 3 pack. And some people call it the local pack. I like that term better in some ways, but whatever it is. But then I made the depth a little bit longer. I said, okay. So I just asked the AI, I said, how did you determine this? And it was really interesting because it said it went out and looked for the information on their website, which goes into that whole schema piece that you were talking about once before. We just talked about that not too long about the importance of
We did.
the content and updates, and people who have their website developers out there and they don't get it. you're going to be left behind because it really depended a lot more on the website. I mean, in 5 years ago, we said, "Oh, websites aren't important. It's just a business card." And at the time, it was. I mean, it was important to have that presence, but the searches were different. They were done different. People are
Yeah.
becoming more conversational. It's not one word questions. Is a carpet cleaner near me? It's find a carpet cleaner in Greeley, Colorado that does this function for my house. I mean, it's a lot more detailed, and it goes and looks at how your pages are put together and the information on your pages. I think it was really an interesting result, and we have people that are they're trying to geo target things and things like that. That it's not going to matter. I mean, with the AI, it is going to change the way it's done. Trust me. I mean, I really truly think that. You want to add anything to what I commented on, Rob?
No, I think that's pretty dead on. So I had a lot of time to be able to think, and I hit some roadblocks on video and everything when my father-in-law passed away. And I started kind of diving into this a little bit differently and looking at things a little different with that little bit of break. And what I really started noticing is how the AI is going out and doing a search. I started reading about all the different changes and coming in Google, all the different changes happening inside of Bing. Apple has a ton of changes. They're going to be putting AI into all their phones. I think that got delayed, but it's supposed to be coming out sometime in September. And I'm actually a developer inside of iOS 18, or I think it's 18, for their beta program and give feedback back on. And I'm using some of those tools that are coming out, and I can't wait for the AI stuff. But businesses are going to be finding you. Yes, you have the voice search piece, but it is relying on all the data the search engine has. And then this is going to rely on everything to be able to get inside of the AI and be able to get a listing basically inside of the AI for it to know who you are. You are going to have to make sure you have the data points on your website correct. You're going to have to make sure you have the data points on all the networks correct. And that's why we're adding yellow pages to our directory listings, why we're adding Foursquare, why we're adding all these other networks that are coming to that is because the more authority you build, it still falls into the three pillars. It's going to be content, authority, and trust. But that content side now is going to majorly include your website. And if your website is not designed correctly, doesn't have the right blogs, doesn't have the right structure or schema on it, and is not ready to go for AI, you are going to be left behind. It's not going to pull up. It has to be able to scrape that information and know exactly what you do. Because when you did that search, you did it for carpet cleaning. Then you talked about, carpet cleaning that has pee smell. And for it to go through, it started checking that website and then changing the results based on the questions you were asking. So that information is now, it's going out there and it's gathering what it knows. It's looking at your reviews. It's looking at all those pieces and it's making a decision for you. It's basically like having an advisor inside of a search engine that's now making that advice for you. And if your business wants to be found, it needs to be inside there and be able to know exactly what it is you do.
Right, I agree. And you kind of just made that comment. I revised my search with some other terms, and of course, I always want to try to understand how the AI is thinking, so I try to sort that out. Every one of those that happened, I mean, there's one carpet cleaner in particular that was on top of all of them, and every time it said it was referred to as inside the website. The content was in the website somewhere. It didn't tell me where, but somewhere in there, whether it's in a blog or on a single page or just in the services area, they covered it and they ranked better. Now they still had great reviews too. I mean, they didn't have a 1-star review for all of them, kind of thing. But so there's that trust factor that still goes in there. So it's the balance of all of it. I mean, it's not just one thing that does it for you. I mean, we have people that are telling us websites are the only thing you need. Not true. Not true. And then we have the people just said just citations on your Google profile is all you need. Not true. It's everything because everything's talking to each other.
Everything is connected, and I'd like to be able to, when we get a second, to be able to draw and map that out. But I mean, to be able to map that out and look at it, you have your website content. You got to make sure you're going into Google Console. You got to make sure you're going into Bing. You got to make sure that is all set up correctly. Then you got to make sure you have all of your directories right. And you have to make sure you have all your places right of where all of your information is there. And everything is connected. Everything is talking to one another. And all this stuff communicates and it verifies and communicates it all between, and it does it in milliseconds and delivers it back to you. And still, if you just design a website, so if you have this graphic design artist and they do build you a beautiful website and you're wondering why is that website not getting me traffic, well, it's because you're not doing everything else. And so many marketers don't know that they have to be doing this whole entire block. Now, we do website design. A lot of people don't know we offer that as an add-on. At the time of recording this, we charge $500 setup and $200 a month. You can have e-commerce. You can do all kinds of stuff inside of there. But most web developers do not know how to be able to market inside of the digital world and how all of the local SEO, because there's a huge landscape. And I've happened to be one of the experts on it. You are the other expert inside of it, Dean. And it's one of those things to where unless you match everything up, when we started simplybefound.com 5 years ago, that list was different than what it is today.
Absolutely.
And the only reason we can see that is we can see the data list. We can see all the different data points. We see all the analytical side. We say we have no reports inside of our system, but I see reports inside of all of your guys' stuff. I see different data points, and I look at that from an analytical side to know what's working and what's not working.
Right. And, I'll we'll talk about reports real quick. I can look at the reports and you pick out a whole different set of issues and things that are good, better than I can, because you look at them more than I do. So that's why just giving those reports to everybody is not going to have a lot of value to it. I mean, it really isn't. Let's talk about the. Oh, go ahead.
It's one little speck. So unless you can say, okay, carpet cleaners or roofers or dentists or restaurants, and look at multiple people across the entire world for that are members, and we have enough members at this point, it's a huge data set that we can look at and know what that is. And as we start to put this out, the whole entire local SEO score is going to get smarter and smarter as we go on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And so, the other thing we were talking about, you're talking about web designers, and a lot of businesses are using web designers. Well, I don't want to throw out any names of them, and we know who they are. They help you build a website. I've looked at their websites, and they're pretty and they look nice. There's no value to it, and they're going, well, they're not getting traffic because of that. I mean, they're still getting some traffic because people have name recognition or referrals, word of mouth referrals. But when it's the the search, the blue sky search, that's that we call, I guess, when brain dead, what do we call that, Rob? Not a paid, what do they call that? Organic search. There we go.
Well, organic search. I didn't know where you were going with that, Dean.
I was like, whoa, where's my brain going? I mean, but no, it's that true organic search. I mean, I've never owned a house that had carpet, let's say, and I put carpet in my house for the first time. I've always had hardwood floors. The process is different. I didn't know that. I've never had anybody talk to me, and so that's that's the whole thing. It's all about that content. But these people that are using these web building programs or software out there, they may have they're good. There's no information to help direct traffic to them with that organic search. And then I've seen some people that have had professionally done websites, and they're putting their blogs in because they have permission from the web designer to do it. The blogs are not formatted right, so there's no value to it. So that's so if you don't use people like us, be aware and make sure that you need to know. I mean, that's the thing, is if you don't know, you can't even ask a good question. It's part of the
correct
problem.
And I'm not dissing every single designer and developer out there or graphic artist. I mean, if you follow our channel, you look at all of our all of our different videos, we're going to start really breaking this down and what this is going to mean. But if you're not doing the right things inside of your business to make AI recognize you, you are not going to be found on voice search anymore. You're not going to be found on local search. You're not going to be found on maps. We talked to somebody when we were at Chamber the other day that thought that they were doing absolutely amazing, and I still wish I would have had him pull out his phone and do a search. And it's why we picked carpet cleaning in the very beginning, because he does carpet cleaning and auto detailing. But it's one of those things to where he says he's paying for all these ads, but he's not even showing up. I can't get him to come up at all. And really, it's kind of sad because most of it's probably off of referrals of where the person knows the name. But when someone comes in and knows your name and puts it into the search, they go through the same exact funnel as everybody else, and they have to make it through your competition to be able to get to you. And that gives you more opportunities to lose that sale than to gain that customer at the end of the day.
Right. And so, and you just touched on voice search, and we're still a big believer in that the voice search activation and voice search devices out there are going to be popular because it's convenient. I'd much rather talk to my mobile device than I would try to type something on my computer. So, unless I'm really doing really deep searches, I use that process kind of thing.
Well, and look at your dad.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. But serious.
I mean, he can't see his phone. I talked about that on one of the podcasts on yesterday. I mean, the elderly are using their phones more. They learn that voice search is there. You have a lot of moms and everything else that are cooking dinner, and dads, and that happens to be sitting on their desk at work, that happens to be sitting on their counter, and they have the Alexa, the Siri, the Cortana, their phones in their pocket. You have to be found everywhere, and you have to be able to drive traffic. And we're all about being able to drive organic traffic and not drive search traffic, because at some point you could pay for all that. At some point there will probably be paid ads inside of Chat GPT and Gemini, which is going to make it suck. But I mean, it's one of those things to where you have to be found organically to be able to even help your pay-per-click ads. Because if you're not improved for organically, your pay-per-click ads are going to cost more anyway. So by fixing all this, you can continue paying for your ads, but this will actually make your ad, or it should make your ad spend go down, because you have more stuff backing you. You have more stuff built out. And when we build a website for you, we can work on being able to work that through as well if you choose to have us do your website.
Right, exactly. But we're going through a big pivot again, Rob.
It's a huge. This is probably one of the biggest ones I've done in my career in 30 years.
Right, and we saw it, the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg's bigger than we thought it was. I think it's really going to change. I mean, we predicted it. Well, you predicted it, and I'm verifying it for you, basically. But that's part of the process. That's the team that we are. Because you have more development experience than I do, but I play the role of the business owner much better because I've been doing it for 30 some years, and you have too, but it's a different kind of process for what I was, because I was more brick and mortar and service oriented. So I think a little differently.
Well, and you got to remember, you got to drive that traffic to your website. You have to have all those pieces in there. I agree to that 100%. And you got to think about it from a bigger picture than what most people are thinking about it. And this tip of the iceberg, I mean, the next thing you're going to have happen is you're going to have people making phone calls to these businesses and going, hey, you're not being found on AI. I mean, it's just going to be one of those things to where that's that next thing. It's kind of like voice search registration. Hey, you're not being found on voice search registration. And businesses going, what the hell's that? I have never heard of that before.
That sounds like the story of our journey, buddy.
That is 100% the story of our journey. So if you are interested in being able to get your business on AI, getting your website to where it needs to be, give us a phone call. Go to our website, simplybefound.com. We can help you get listed in all those different places and be able to work with you to be able to get your business found by more local customers. Anything else you want to say, Dean?
No, I think we pretty well burned this topic up for today right now until we discover something new. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And if you like our weirdness and like our randomness, make sure you definitely join us. And we appreciate everybody who's been on the journey for the coming in January. It's going to be 5 years, Dean.
I know.
That's just crazy. And by the way, at the time of recording this, we have only, I think it's 159 days until Christmas.
Wow. So, Lordy. Thanks for that.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye now.